Ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking. Mm. You're thinking that I think that this mask will protect me from the rays of the sun that emanates from the corona of the sun. But I don't think that at all. No, sir, I don't think that for a moment. What I do think is that in 2 days, Philippines time, it will be March 22nd. And March 22nd plays a significant role in all of history and always has. And in fact, that's the wrong way to put your mask, by the way. This would be the proper way if you knew how to do diving. Anytime you see a diving video or a documentary or a movie, and the people have their masks on, and they're out in the middle of the ocean, and they have their masks on, and they're like this, and then they surface, and they put the mask on their head, rest assured, they are doing it improperly. Rest assured, it's for movie purposes only, so it doesn't block their neck. Rest assured, the producer is a fool that knows nothing about diving, because no professional and or trained diver would ever put the mask on their head. Because what can happen is you can hit it with all your gear on and knock it off. And if you're in any kind of water, it will just fall down to the bottom. And if you are in the ocean, a wave can smack the mask off your head. So whenever you see a movie, I don't care who's producing the movie, it could be Jacques Cousteau himself. If you're watching a documentary and they put the mask on top of their head, that's wrong. No certified, properly trained diving instructor will ever tell you to put the mask on your forehead. In fact, even when you're doing pool training, you never put the mask on your forehead. Never. Hello, Princess Anud. Welcome to the machine. So, I watched the movie. It was all nonsense a couple of days ago about some Filipino girls and some fake gold shipment. And all they did throughout the entire movie, everybody put the mask on their head. So either the producer was as dumb as a rock, or they didn't want to block the girl's neckline. Either way, that's just a little piece of information that I'm going to give you before we talk about the SUNS Corona. That's right, we're going to talk about the SUNS Corona and what it is, how it works, what it does. So I have notes, okay, but what I will tell you is the corona of the sun significantly and coincidentally enough also represents the British Empire's symbol of the sun, or the corona, over the crown. Now, why is that important? What is going to bug you out about a crown of England with a corona over it? Well, a lot of things should bug you out about that, but you people have, at best, no education when it comes to world events and catastrophic prophecies that have been prophesized for 20, 30, 40, 50, 100, 150, 200 years. It's called a long-term plan. And what we understand to be a long-term plan in our life could be a 5-year plan. That doesn't work like that with the elite. The elite have plans, have had plans, have always had plans for the 100-year long-term plan, 200-year long-term plan. In fact, a little known factoid is that the world since the 1830s has been building underground tunnels. And at first they did it with a pickaxe and a hammer and chisel, and then they moved into the steam-operated equipment, and then eventually gasoline or diesel-operated equipment, then hydraulic equipment, and now they have what is called a mole, M-O-L-E. And you can Google the world's biggest mole, M-O-L-E, and it's a 63-foot in diameter machine. That is, I believe it's 1,000, several hundred feet long. I'm not real sure. I could Google it for you. I could Google how long is the mole. Okay, so let me do that. How? Because you people don't know how to do stuff like this. It's an amazing thing how ignorant people are. So you know something. Just how long is the world's WORLDS biggest mole, digging mole, trenching mole, TRENCHING, mole. Okay, so we should be able to get that back. Oh, look at this. It's the Monopoly Pete from the Monopoly game that controls the board. Just in time for the anniversary of 322. Skull and Bones, baby. And we're going to get into that in a moment. So here, we Googled how long is the world's largest trenching mole, and we'll press enter. And okay, no, it doesn't have that. Okay, so world's biggest mole. All right, we're gonna go. All right, the world's biggest mole. Let's search that. Okay. Wow, they took it off the internet. Okay. There's got to be a way to find this. Wow, they decided that they don't want people to know about the underground tunnels. Let's forget about the world's biggest. Let's just go world's biggest mole. Wow, it used to come right up with. All right, well, they're not going to let us see that now, are they? Wow, it used to be the number one thing that popped up. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go to YouTube. That's what we're going to. Wow, tunnel boring machine. Well, you know what? We'll go to the world's biggest tunnel. TUNNEL. Tunnel boring. BORING. Tunnel boring mole. Now, there is no way on earth 2 years ago you would have Googled that, you wouldn't come right to the machine. All right, so we had to go a different way, but we still have the same results. So it's called Big Bertha. Okay, so let's, I'm going to open this up. And I'm not going to play the video because of copyright. I'm not going to play the video, but I'm going to shut this off. But I just want to tell you something. The stats, you could look, somebody wants to look up the stats, be my guest. So here it is. Big Bertha, world's largest tunnel boring, facing Big Seattle Challenge. Now, I've seen that video many times. So let me get that into the stream. Dennis Adam, welcome to the machine. So let me get that into the machine, into the chat window. So, and this is all related. The world's biggest tunnel boring operation and machinery, because there are many of these things. And the SUNS corona, which is way up there in the sky, 4,000 miles away from what I understand. That's how far the sun is from the earth. And the bug. Okay, so the world's biggest tunnel boring machine that digs tunnels underground and basically makes underground storage facilities and living quarters for the military and the elite. Now, where do they do this? They do this. They do this all over the flat plain world. Okay, they don't just do it under certain cities. Now, that article I just showed you said that the tunnel boring machine was working in Seattle. So I guess that's Seattle, Washington. I didn't read the article, but let me just clear this up for you. Okay, that tunnel boring machine, let's go back to I'll show you the machine. Okay, this is the machine. Okay, so it's named after one of Seattle's early mayors. It's an $80 million drill rig, Big Bertha. It's 326 feet long. Okay, excuse me. I thought it was 700 or 900 feet long. Okay, but this thing costs as much as a nuclear submarine. So what it does is it's 63 feet in diameter. So the diameter of this machine is 63 feet. Okay, so what it does is it grinds through any substrate. A substrate is anything below the surface of the ground, anything at all. So when it grinds with these teeth on here that I'm pointing to, there's multiple teeth on here. What happens is inside these holes, the material gets sucked into these holes. And in this chamber here is a nuclear reactor that takes the substrate as ground up rock and sand and granules, and it melts it down into what we would call glass, because rock, when melted, turns into a glazing compound similar to glass. Now, regular beach sand, if you've ever started a really intense fire on the beach or took some beach sand and put it on a metal tray, it turns into glass. That's how they make glass with sand. This machine takes the material and it gets sucked into these holes, and then it gets melted down into a glaze like a pancake mix. Okay, so now you have a hole in a rock surface or sandy surface. So what will keep the sandy surface, the rock surface, from falling back down into the hole the tunnel boring machine makes? Well, this glaze, this melted rock and sand and dirt and any kind of compounds that are in the earth gets melted down into a slush or slurry, and then other chemicals are added to the slurry. And how they get those chemicals to this machine is, I will show you a different projection of this machine. I will show you a different angle of the machine, if I can. Okay. So what we're going to have to do is we're just going to play hit and miss here. So this tunnel boring machine, at the back of the tunnel boring machine, has many hoses, huge hoses, like, 6 inches, 8 inches, 8 inches in diameter. Okay, so through these hoses, okay, so here's the machine itself. Okay, so here's the machine, goes back 300 feet. And then in the back of, this is the nose, this is the nuclear powered generator. And this part of the machine that goes back another couple of 100 feet, this is where the hot slurry is created. Okay, let's just say this is where the hot slurry is created, in this round section here, the white section. Then that slurry is pumped back through a series of piping, and in the back of where the grinder is, this is the grinding area in the front. In the back of the grinder are jets that shoot this slurry back out into the hole that was made by the boring machine itself. But added to the melted rock, which is almost like glass now, comes from the back of this machine pipes, and an entire series of pipes. Some are for cooling purposes and to reduce the heat inside the nuclear reactor that's inside this machine. There are two of these that I know of. So there's a nuclear reactor in here. It has to be cooled off. So the water has to go back out through the pipes, cold, hot, and then come back in cold. However they do that, it's a secret. Along with the pipes that come from the back of the machine is what is called additives to the compound. And we're going someplace with this. So we're going someplace with this because this is where they are going to be when they shut things down. They're going to be inside something that these tunnel boring machines made. And that's where we're going with this. So coming in from the back is an additive that goes into the slurry that's made inside the nose of the tunnel boring machine. Then it gets sprayed on the walls that it just passed. But it's not just like a spray. It's several inches thick that gets sprayed around the tunnel itself. And inside the slurry is also fibrous material like carbon fibers or fiberglass fibers that make an impermeable bond from air or water. So any water that's leaking down into the tunnel, that slurry makes a complete impermeable barrier that stops the water, and it stops the water from getting into the tunnel. And then they create other tunnels that connect with this. Now, believe it or not, no one in the world has any idea how many tunnels there are. Now, there are theories that the tunnels even go underneath the oceans. Now, I don't know that that's true or not, but we do have tunnels that go from close or to Alaska, from one side of the flat plain to Antarctica, in a series of connecting tunnels. They go under Washington, D.C. There are thousands of miles of these tunnels, but we're not the only person that makes these tunnels. And going back to my original statement, they've been making these tunnels since my research brings me back to the 1830s when they were doing it by hand. And before this, thousands of years ago, there were tunnels underground for various reasons that supposedly these architects of time and archaeologists, supposedly they tell you the truth about this stuff, but they don't tell you the truth about any of this stuff. Those tunnels that go back into the Mayan era and before pre-Egypt, going back 50,000 years in the Arab countries, those tunnels were made because of supposedly an upcoming event that was going to destroy the world. However, now they got this down pat. So I got to tell you this, and why am I mentioning this? Because nobody else wants to talk about it. All you people, I have a theory, I have a theory. No, there's no theory necessary. All theories are well and good, but the truth is, and these are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is that for the last 35 or 40 years, every person in our age group, my age group, somewhere between, let's just say everybody that's 50 years old, because I just spoke with the nutty professor this morning, who's 52, and I remember when he was born. So he knows about these tunnels, but he also knows about what is called the world order of newness. And him and I had a little brief conversation about this because we could talk about it for hours or days, but it's not necessary. He's a pretty good researcher. So the order of world newness is something that's been around since the Nutty Professor showed me how to turn on a computer back in the late 1980s, early 1990s. He's the first person I ever saw use a computer. And in fact, he helped me get my first computer. So he's known about this, but for 30 years, now he calls himself the Nutty Professor, but for 30 years, we have been, well, for 30 years, we've been friends for 52 years. Well, since he was born, because I was friends with his mom first. And he always thought I was crazy. He always thought that I was talking about some sort of thing that wasn't real. But now he knows. Now we laugh about it because for all the years that he would say, that's not true. Then I would show him, send him articles or talk to him, or he'd see my videos. That's not, that's never going to. It's happening now, ladies and gentlemen. It's happening now. So there is something that we will call, let's figure out a good name for it, because we don't want to say that name, actually. So there is something, let's call it a new a new friend of 21. So if your friend is 21 years old, we have a new friend of 21. And let's just say that along with your new friend 21, who's named 21, let's call your new friend 21. So along with your new friend 21 comes a storyline. Well, that storyline has been in existence since I was first turned on to it back in the late 70s. And everybody thought I was crazy when I talked about it. But they don't think that anymore, because now you actually are getting to see that in real life. Whether you want to believe it or not, whether the bugs that come from the sun's corona, and we're going to get involved with that in a moment as well, whether the bugs that come from the sun's corona, the bugs are coming from the sun's corona. These bugs here, that the tunnel boring machines are protecting certain people from, the bugs that are coming from the sun's corona. And rest assured that they literally come from the sun's corona. And when I explain to you what a corona is and why, then and only then will you understand that you have been bamboozled, is a word. You have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked. That's why I named my channel Hoodwinked. You, ladies and gentlemen, of the flat plane that you live on, have been bamboozled by the elite, by the powers that be, by what you think and or believe in the newspapers. You have been bamboozled, because if you'll notice, for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, anything that said new friend of 21, anything that said new friend from 21 has pretty much been scrubbed. I looked at my new friend from 21. I looked at my new friend from 21 videos, and I was going, well, this video is, it's a great video, but I couldn't find it. Even with the name of video from my videos list, my video didn't appear. Now, I don't know why that is. Well, I do know why that is. They don't want you talking about that. So now, what year is it? It's the new friend year of 2020, right? So if there was going to be a new friend, and that friend was 21 years old, if you were going to have a new friend at the age of 21, and you had a new friend, 21 friend, well, you have to prepare for his birthday. And that's coming up really short. Time goes by really quickly when you're having fun. So your new friend of 21 years old is now only months away. But 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 the elite, they said long time ago in preparation for your new friend 21, they said all preparations would be ready by the year of your new friend's 21st birthday. They said it would all be in play. So this morning, my friend of 52 years, the Nutty Professor, who actually installs 5 golf trot antennas, who actually does the installation. And I talked about the effects of the 5 golf trot radio antennas. And he said it's devastating on the human genome. But that's his job. And he probably does it well. So, my friend, and we went into the reasoning that I'm going to leave for another day. However, so if you had a new friend and your new friend was going to be 21 and you wanted to prepare for your new friend's 21st birthday party, you would put all your ducks in order. So now this video is being made because everybody forgot about their new friend's birthday. Just like everybody forgot about Mr. Donald Trump's promises. She's going to go to jail. You won't be around because you'll be in jail. You are not going to be here because you're going to be in jail. Does anybody remember Mr. Trump saying that 5 years ago? It's going on 5 years now. Does anybody, or 4 years? Yeah, it's going on 5 years. Does anybody ever remember Mr. Trump saying that there was a certain woman that wasn't going to be around because she was going to be in jail? That's never going to happen. I told you it never happened. In fact, I have many videos of Mrs. C telling you that she'd never spend a day in jail. And why? Because, like George Carlin said, she's in the club. And so is Mr. Donald Trump. He's in the club. He was destined to be in the club, probably from birth, even though he may have not have known it till he was in his mid-20s. And there's nothing saying he could have made it this far. Any kind of a single skiing accident or horse riding accident could have stopped him. But then again, there's always a backup. Just like Mr. O. We should put the mask on when we talk about him, because Mr. O. Does anybody remember Mr. Trump saying that, Mr. O, we were going to find out what's going on behind the scenes. We're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and we're going to do some things to Mr. O, and we're going to do some things to Mrs. C. We're going to do some things to these people. They're going to pay. They're going to pay dearly for their slights against the world, not just America. They're going to pay. I'm going to make them pay. And on top of making Mr. O pay, and on top of making Mrs. Clinton pay, I'm going to build a wall, baby. I'm going to build it like the Great Wall of China. I'm going to do that. And so far, he said a few weeks ago he's got 100 miles of 1,300 miles built. But in reality, someone said he only has a few hundred feet. But it doesn't matter. The wall was going to be high. It was going to be tall. It was going to be wide. It was going to be like the Great Wall of China. It was going to stop every Tom, Dick, and Harry from coming into America. But he didn't do that either, did he? So he didn't prosecute the big C. He didn't prosecute the big O. He didn't build the wall. And I told you 4 years ago he wasn't going to build the wall. I don't know why you people don't listen. I have no idea what is on your mind. It has never been, and it never will be, a plan to build a wall between America and Mexico. It's just not on the table. It's not in the books. Has nothing to do with funding. Has nothing to do with what the people want. It's what the people think that he said he's going to do and believe that nonsense. Now, I told you 4 years ago he was not going to build a wall. And now he's not building a wall or didn't build. Yeah, well, let me tell you something about the wall. Now, probably I couldn't scale it like the people are scaling it, but it's scalable. Okay. It doesn't matter how tall it is because it has slats through it on like a, I don't know, 30-degree angle. But in those slats, you can put your hand through it. And they say that's so that the border control can see what's on the other side of the wall. But also, that allows people to see what's on our side of the wall. That reasoning is nonsense to begin with. It's not a wall like the Great Wall of China that's 20 feet wide where trucks and cars go over. Trump had visions of a wall that was 20 feet, 25 feet wide, and there'd be trains on tracks or trams on tracks. And on one tram would be like on a big U track on top, and it would travel this way, and another tram would be underneath it. So there'd be two sets of tracks. So the Border Patrol agents could go in both directions at the same time. But that never happened because the wall is only this thick. This is how thick the wall is. Let me show you, just in case you don't understand. It's about less than an inch thick. Okay, but the slats that are on the wall allow people to put their hands in it, and they climb up the wall. And they can climb right up. Okay, then there's a 6 or 7 or 8 foot piece of flat steel that they have to traverse around. But that's traversable because here's how it works. You take, the wall is 18 feet high. It's not even high. It's 18 feet. So the first 12 or 14 feet are those slatted areas. And then there's like 7 or 8 feet of a flat sheet that you can't put your hands around, right? Okay, so you take a rope that's 50 feet long and you throw it over the wall. You throw it over the wall and there's a weight on the end of the rope and it falls down next to the wall. And you grab that rope through the slat and you tie it on with a timber hitch against one of the bottom of the slats. And on your side has knots and on the other side has knots. And after you timber hitch the rope to the bottom of the slatted fence, just climb over. Most anybody could do that. So Trump never built the wall. He never, we're going someplace with this, he never compromised the freedom of Mrs. C. He never compromised Mr. O's freedoms. Never did that. Never exposed the Obama administration. Never exposed the fact that Mr. Obama's entire life's history of pictures don't include even one picture of Mrs. Obama being pregnant. Not one. And it doesn't, Mr. Trump did never expose the fact that the possibility of Mr. O's children, where did they come from? They just came out of like thin air, like somebody orders a hamburger from a Hot and Now. Okay, so that's what he was going to expose, all of the little things that could have been exposed, but he didn't do any of that. And now here's the kicker. Here we go. Get ready. When Mr. Trump said in his presidency there would never be marital law. Didn't he say there would never be marital law? There would never be any kind of government takeover in his presidency. I think he said there would never be marital law. I think he said that. Marital law, ladies and gentlemen, will never happen. They will never confiscate your toys. Well, Mr. Trump, there's marital law going on right now. Of course, it's beyond your control, right? Of course, you didn't know this was going to happen, right, Mr. Trump? Now, this is a question directly, from myself to you, Mr. Trump. I'd appreciate an answer for that. You said on your presidency, during your presidency, there would never be marital law. Marital law, never going to happen in America. But we know better now, don't we, Mr. Trump? So the point of this operation that we have going on here today is to expose some of the things that's about to happen. And I'll tell you why as soon as I get this up on the screen. What we have, ladies and gentlemen, is we have the prophecy of Mr. O'Doul. Mr. O'Doul is the new upcoming prophet for the next 72 hours. Mr. O'Doul, like O'Doul's beer. And Mr. O'Doul will prophesize what's going to happen in the next 72 hours, whether he's right or wrong. Up until now, Mr. O'Doul has been on the money. And what better way to start this whole deal off is talking about money. So let's talk about their long-term plan, and let's talk about money, because money is about as an important part of life as you can get. So I will read some comments. I will read the comments from two different categories. I will read my Patreon members' comments. If you're not a member of my Patreon community, I suggest you become a member of my Patreon community if you really want to know and or talk to me in real life. And if you don't want to talk to me in real life, that's okay too. So if somebody wants to grab my Patreon link and post it 3 times, that'd be great. Save me a few minutes. But you know what? I have Patreon right up here on the screen. Let me get it. I'll get you my Patreon page. I will not show you my Patreon page with my I will not show you my Patreon page with what's on this screen, because it shows the 2 newest members to my Patreon community, and it shows you their level of membership, and that's just not going to happen. So but I can tell you that there are 2 new members of my Patreon account. One I mentioned last week. There was one last week and one this week, and the one last week and the one this week are at the same level, and I gotta tell you, very generous. From the 2 new members of my Patreon community, I will say thank you very much. Your generosity is much welcome. So what we have here, so if you're not a member of my Patreon community, I'm not going to respond to your comment. If you're not long-term Patreon members, comments will be read. Other than that, I would never get through the comment section. So I just don't have time for you, like you have no time to take a serious interest in what I have to say. So Dan says, hello, Michael. Hello, Dennis. Welcome to the machine. And anybody asking me you can ask any question you want, but don't expect an answer. It's just that simple. Now, I have people say, why should anybody give any money to anybody's Patreon account? Why should anybody go sign up for that worthless Patreon account of so-and-so or give money people? Dudes and dudettes, I don't care if you become a member of my Patreon account or not. That doesn't matter to me. However, if you want to talk to me in real life and you are a member of my Patreon community, I will communicate with you. If you have questions about the Philippines, I'll give you the information that I can. If you just want to say hello, I'll say hello. But I'm not going to deal with the trolls anymore. And anybody who's leaving comments that I don't know your name, long-term friends, I just don't have time for you. What time do you give me? When I go to most of your channels, I see no content, no videos, no like videos, no playlists with my name on it. I'm not even subscribed to most of your channels. Yet you leave a comment that could take me 10 or 15 minutes to look, read, answer your comment. Maybe some people request videos from me. I'll make a video for you. $50. I'll make a video of your choice. I'll talk about the topic of your choice. This morning, someone wanted me to talk about squaring the circle and Jesus Christ. Now, that's a pretty complicated topic. It's going to take me probably a half hour to review the notes that I have on squaring the circle and or to put it in relationship with Jesus Christ. So can you please make a video of how squaring the circle relates to Christ? Yeah, I could do that. I certainly could do that. You become a member of my Patreon community or make a one-time donation for $50, and I'll talk about how to square the circle and how it relates to Jesus Christ. But if you don't want to send money for my time, I don't want to take care of your comments. I'll read your comment, and actually it was a great comment, but that'll take, I don't know, I say a half hour, but by the time I'm done with, probably be an hour and a half to teach you how to square a circle and why you square the circle and who originally came up with squaring the circle and Jesus, if I could put a correlation to it, which I probably could, but I want $50 for my time. Now, if you don't want to give me $50, I don't want to make your video. It's not complicated. You want me to spend a couple hours of my time, I think I deserve money for the time I spend. Now, if you don't think it's worth any money, then find somebody else on YouTube that's some unknown name with nobody, no viewers, no commentary, no playlists, no video uploads, no face, no content. Find somebody else that will answer your question, that's willing to devote an hour and a half minimum, let's just say an hour and a half, and then find somebody that has the knowledge to do such. Okay? Find just one person that's willing to spend an hour and a half because of some arbitrary comment. I bet you make that comment across 200 video uploaders. I bet you 199 of those people don't even read your comment. And then, of the few people that might read it, who's going to do it for you? Some unknown person. Now, they might throw it down on a list. Square the circle, Jesus Christ, like I did. But next time I start doing some research with squaring the circle is and how it relates to Jesus Christ, I might do a video on it. But until then, I have no wish, want, or desire to spend an hour and a half of my life doing something that some unknown person that has never given me the time of day until today I read the comment. And then they request an hour and a half of my time. Great question, great topic matter, great concept, not worth an hour and a half of my time. So you can leave the comments any way you want. Okay. Well, Jane Art of Life has been a long-term subscriber of mine and says she believes the elites will be crushed and destroyed underground when they go hide in the coming future. I don't know. That's what, and then that's what it says in the Bible. But the Bible was written by the same people that control the elites. So that's just a story. But it's a good story, but it's a story to give people false hope, in my opinion. I believe that there won't be a catastrophic upheaval of the earth, as it says in the Bible. And those people will just go underground like they did 50,000 years ago. So, John Escape, welcome to the machine. Thank you for stopping by. So, wait, we have the wordsmith here, Scott Del Fuego. Now, like I said, that there's a lot of people making comments that I'm just bypassing. I go to your channel, I don't see a playlist with my name on it. I don't see a liked video list with my name or my videos on it. I pass your name up like it doesn't exist. Not a problem. Not a problem for me. Look how much time I just saved, at least 20 minutes answering questions. I'm doing good. I'm right on schedule. Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith, says, excellent, Mr. Fazio is on and ready to bring some comfort and reason to these times of fear and chaos. Great panics and great disasters bring out the genius and strength in great men. Fazio is here. Salamat. Okay, so I have it to the point now where people mention my name on other channels, and some of the other channel commentators, not Big Kevin. Big Kevin always gives me a nice shout out, but some people just bypass my comments altogether because they are embarrassed that everything I said was going to happen is happening. Now, and some people love me, and other people I don't care about. Either way, one way or the other, it makes no difference to me. Either you understand what has been going on for the last 20 years, or this video is going to be of no use to you whatsoever. John Escape says, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Well, there is a third way where you could grab my attention if you're not a member of my Patreon community and you're not a long-term friend or subscriber. And that third way, you know what to do. You know what you got to do. And if you don't want to do it, I don't really care. I'm not going to sit here and ask you to send me money. I don't really give a flying crap about you sending me money. If you don't care that your comments are not getting answered, I don't care that you leave the comments. Have a nice day. So, Sunshine. UV, Scott Del Fuego says, UV radiation of blood could likely cure, but the companies would make no money. I don't know. I haven't even thought about that. The UV aspect of it, I don't know. All I do know is that the sun's corona, the corona of the sun, and the fact that the bug is named after the sun's corona, isn't it? Let's go. But being that Scott brought us to that topic matter, let's go